Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a character spotlight of Carnage. This has to do with the upcoming film Venom, There Be Carnage, but I figured might as well talk about Carnage in the comics. You know, where his origin story began, and seeing what we might see potentially in the upcoming film, which I believe comes out this Friday. So for those of you who don't know, Carnage is a Marvel character from supervillain, really, from the Marvel comics. Specifically, he is Cletus Cassidy. Everyone pretty much just calls him Cassidy. Now, Cassidy is a sociopathic serial killer who eventually bonded with a alien symbiote, which became, when they two combined, became Carnage. So let's go and talk about his backstory. So he was he had a deeply troubled childhood. He was raised in an orphanage. He was a serial killer who was convicted of 11 consecutive and was convicted for 11 consecutive life sentences. He was imprisoned in Rikers Island. Cletus became cellmates with Eddie Brock, who at the time had been separated from the Venom symbiote. When the symbiote actually came and rescued Eddie Brock, it left an offspring that bonded to Cletus and merged with his blood, which turned him into Carnage. Now, a symbiote is these creatures who need a host to survive. And what they do is normally what happens is when they combine with a host, they then take the personality of the host and mend together um, what's inside the symbiote as well. And they kind of mend together until they just become one. So Venom originally bonded with Spider-Man, who then bonded with Eddie Brock. So he has very similar abilities to that of Spider-Man in a certain sense. So his offspring Carnage has very similar abilities as well. Granted, much different because the way this particular symbiote bonded with Cassidy, it was through his blood, which changes the game significantly. It's not just an outer layer of skin, it's deep inside his DNA. So, over the years, Carnage has been a recurring enemy to Venom, Spider-Man, Deadpool, which was a shock to me, and even the Avengers. In fact, he was once leading a group of other murderers and monsters on a rampage across Manhattan. Now, he was thought to have been killed by Sentry, who was basically the Marvel's version of Superman. Carnage returned more powerful than ever and began harboring ambitions of conquest and godhood. So Cassidy perished while separated from the symbiote, but a cult worshipping the symbiote god Null, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Knull, bonded him to a new symbiote, which linked him to the Dark God and reanimating him. Now, the new undead Carnage's plan to free Null from his interstellar prison was opposed by Venom, who actually killed Cassidy after destroying Null as well. So Venom then became the new King in Black, but Carnage enacted a plan from within the symbiote hive mind to overthrow him. Now, the symbiote hive mind is apparently a place where the main symbiote can actually manipulate all other symbiotes, which then basically kind of controls them to do whatever he bids, which he was later been able to do to control to try to stop Venom. It passed and failed at the same time. Weird interaction. So, Carnage started his debut in 1991 in The Amazing Spider-Man number 344. He didn't become Carnage until March of 1992 in The Amazing Spider-Man number 360. and it was his death in Absolute Carnage #5, November 19th. Now, to be honest with you, most likely, just like in most comics, he's not going to die forever. He's eventually going to come back. But for now, he's dead. Now, things you probably did not know about Carnage. Carnage actually produced an offspring. His name was Toxin. Now, Toxin was much more like Eddie Brock and Venom, meaning he was he got a host, sorry, with a New York City cop, Patrick Mulligan, who became basically a vigilante, which Carnage did not like. He wanted him to be chaos. They tried to kill him, but with the efforts of Spider-Man, Toxin, and Black Cat, that was stopped. Um, he just didn't like it. As I stated, Deadpool and Carnage actually fought, and Deadpool was able to stop him, which is kind of a surprise to me, but definitely an interesting thing. So as we know, Cassidy is a criminal crazy, right? Sociopath. He's just a murderous human being, and because of this, the symbiotes normally attract to your most deepest and darkest personality traits and exploits them. So Carnage was Cassidy times 1,000. He was able to do so much damage and murder so many people just for the heck of it. And like I said, as he became Carnage, it was even worse. So let's talk about his powers. So as always, Marvel kind of does this power grid out of 7. So his intelligence is a 2, which is considered normal. His strength is actually considered superhuman. So when he was just by himself, meaning just Cassidy and him and the symbiote, he was classified as a #5. And then when bonded with the god, with the other symbiote, which got him closer to godlyhood, I guess you would say, almost like a demigod, he moved up to a 6. Not that big of a difference in strength, but just in general, just wanted to bring that up so you're aware. It added him to a whole different strength bracket when that happened. His speed is only a 3, which is considered superhuman. I imagine it's just above human. His durability is a 5, which is not all that surprising since the way he was bonded with his symbiote was through his blood, that as long as one drop of his blood still existed, he was able to reanimate his body, basically. So it's a 5. Energy projection is about medium range, and what that is mostly his appendages that come out of his body, normally spikes, blades, and other type devices, um, maiming and killing his victims that way. Now, his fighting skills are just normal. They're at a 2. Um, he's not really known to be a skilled fighter. That does not make him any less dangerous, mind you. It's just that he doesn't really have, how do I put it, the finesse like other fighters do. So he also has the Null's empowerment, which Null is the original symbiote. So it is basically that he's kind of a god in a sense, in the sense that he's able to, even after death, able to maintain a presence in the physical world because of the Null's empowerment in the Codex. The Codex I was talking about earlier, where they kind of combine all the symbiotes together, able to control them all. And then symbiote domination is more of the ability to actually control and force other symbiotes to do your bidding. So let's talk about his abilities. Obviously, his superhuman strength. He has the ability to create a bunch of different weapons to attack his victims, and these are just parts of his body. Venom's able to do this as well, but Carnage does it more often than Venom, and he does it in a much more violent way, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, he has a lot of weaknesses, actually. One of which is that Cassidy is a diagnosed psychopath. So he's got a lot of mental issues, and it can actually allow people to manipulate his actions, which has happened where he joined the Avengers at one point to destroy an evil threat because it would have been chaotic. He's weak to electricity, and he's weak to sonic blasts. Enough of that could actually weaken him to the point where the symbiote actually leaves his body. And like I said, he's got a lot of weapons that come out of his body, and he gets this ability called web slinging, which happens to be just a copy of Spider-Man's ability, which is how what he actually does is he shoots a part of his symbiote suit onto something and swings around. That's where it comes from. So that's Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. Um, I'm much, I should say, I'm looking forward to the fact of Harrelson actually playing Carnage in the most diabolical way possible. So I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait for it to come out. Um, other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with what I say? Did you think that there was something I was missing? Because in these things, I don't like talking about all the different storylines because it's just going to take it so much longer. And I like talking about the main points and kind of just an idea of, his strengths and skills. Like I said, obviously, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.